Welcome to the first episode of the ROCKJAW method. I'm Sach, the founder of ROCKJAW, and today I'll be talking through the mechanics of chewing Tuff Gum and how to chew the gum effectively to get the best results. Now understand, a lot of people are struggling with the concept of how a jawline gum works, so let's get started. First things first, we need to understand what causes muscle growth. Now let's take going to the gym as an example. You go to the gym and you train your biceps. We need to understand what causes your biceps to go from this to this and the ways that we can apply this similar biological principle with our jaw muscles. So let's take a look at the most obvious variable. So we all know the stronger we get, the more our demands increase for our biceps. So let's say we start at 5 kilogram dumbbells and slowly move up to 10 kilos. That suggests that we have gained muscle, which is also accompanied by hypertrophy of this muscle. That's why the gym for your jaw was a slogan that I chose after studying the principles of growing your biceps and applying it to your jaw muscles. It was very fitting. But we know this is not enough just to go from this to this with your biceps. There is another variable that not many people consider, and that is increasing the volume and intensity. So how can we achieve this? The first most obvious way to increase the volume is simply by increasing the size of the gum. So regular gum, as we know, is extremely small, whereas Tuff Gum is 1.8 times bigger and twice the thickness. So this accounts for the increase in volume. Now we need to tackle the intensity part. So this one is also a fairly simple mechanic, and that is simply by increasing the time we chew this gum. Now let's just take a quick look at regular chewing gum and Tuff Gum. If we increase the time chewed with regular chewing gum, can we achieve the same results? Well, the answer to that is no, and that is because number one, the size of the gum is extremely small, meaning we're not going to get adequate volume. And number two, the toughness as well. With Tuff Gum being almost 8 times the toughness of regular chewing gum, this helps to also target the intensity factor that we lack in regular chewing gum. Now, I recommend chewing Tuff Gum for 30 to 50 minutes for beginners, and this is for complete beginners, and 2 to 4 hours for more advanced chewers. Or if you have chewed our products before, I'd recommend sticking between 2 to 4 hours a day. But the main question is still there. How do I know it's working? So first things first, no one has spoken about this before, and that is the pumped up feeling you get in your jaw after chewing Tuff Gum. So this, I can explain it to be like at the gym, you're training your biceps, you start to feel your muscle pumped up, and that's because blood is flowing to the area. It's the same principle with your jaw muscles. If you clench, you can see this muscle is being activated each time you chew. And obviously, since we just increased the volume and the intensity, along with the toughness, we can anticipate these muscles to be trained. That is exactly the case with Tuff Gum. Another thing is the next day soreness. Now this is not common for people that are advanced chewers or chew normal chewing gum on a regular basis, but you could experience this if you're very new to chewing gum or not a frequent chewer. Now another thing we need to talk about is the beginner gains. Again, like the gym, after 30 days you do notice a considerable gain in muscle mass, and this is known as beginner gains. The same principle applies here, and after 30 days of chewing Tuff Gum, you will notice a difference. And we'll talk about some pitfalls later on that can affect this. But for now, let's stick to the topic of how do I know it's working. The next thing is very important. Again, no one has discussed this so far, but is keeping a progress tracker and a log. Now, the way I would recommend doing this is by having a journal, perhaps writing down your progress. So for instance, I start off chewing for 30 minutes a day, and a week later, you're now chewing for 45 or 50 minutes. You can write this down so you can keep a tab on your progress. Another more effective way of doing this is by logging daily or weekly photos of your journey. Now, I do recommend daily because then you can create a time lapse of your progress so far, give you a more accurate representation of your progress. So take photos, save them in a separate album, look at them after chewing for 3, 4 or 5 months. This is where you'll notice a significant difference. I will be attaching a before and after for one of our customers, and he was very kind enough to share his progress, which is of 21 weeks. So that's the before picture. I'll put the after one over there and you decide, has it worked? Okay, so now let's get on to the pitfalls. Some of the things that could go wrong. I'm going to switch sides. Number 1 is overtraining. Now, same as the gym, you do not want to go extreme and just chew. This increases your risk of getting injured, and it will also lag your results. Now, obviously as an owner, you would probably expect me to say keep chewing, so you use more gum, but my priority is getting people to get results. So overtraining, stick to one piece of gum as well. Do not shove 3 or 4 pieces of gum expecting to get fast results, because number 1, you're just wasting your gum, you're wasting your money, you're not going to get the optimal gains, and you're increasing your chance of getting injured. Now, another thing is the lack of protein and a poor diet. Another one of those things that is not discussed, but increase your protein intake, just like going to the gym. As you can see, everything is linking back to this mechanism of the gym, and it's exactly why I chose this slogan, because the principles are exactly the same. At the end of the day, your masseter muscle located in your jaw is a muscle. So we have to treat it in the same principle as we would with any other muscle group at the gym. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, and that is a high sodium intake. It does tie in with a poor diet, but some of the things you'll experience with high sodium is bloating in your face. This means that you'll have less visible results because it'll be warped by the bloating and water retention that is around your face and your jaw. Next thing is having a high body fat. Again, I'm not here to sell you the most amount of chewing gum. I'm here to sell you the result. I want you guys to have a massive jawline transformation just like I did. And that doesn't always mean coming with selling chewing gum. First, you need to look at your body. So I would recommend losing body fat before you even bother trying any of our products. Because if you are fat, bluntly put, you're not going to see anything. You're going to have a high body fat percentage in your face. Like, you can't spot target fat loss, okay? So focus, if you are fat, on losing body fat first before touching any products, not even just mine, like any product you find. You will not notice any difference because you'll be hiding your muscle under your face fat. Okay, the next thing is TMJ risk. Now, this is a big factor. We do get a lot of questions on this. Luckily, our chewing gum is not tough to the point it will cause damage, but it could cause damage if you chew fast and hard. Okay, let me explain. Chewing very slowly is very important. You do not want to go in this and just be like, you're going to increase the risk of getting injured. And also, because in colder conditions, the gum is really tough. So chewing slowly, warm the gum up in your mouth for 30 to 40 seconds. Slowly ease into the chewing motion. Chew with intention as well. So all the way down. I should have bought a packy and showed you guys, but on the next episode I will. And so, like at the gym again, don't go from 0 to 100 real quick. So you want to take things slow. You want to take things gradually, like at the gym. You start with a 1 kilo dumbbell, 5 kilo dumbbell. You gradually push your way up to 5, the 10s, the 15s. But this takes time. It's not an overnight process. So we need to apply those same principles with this gum as well. Now, some of the things I recommend for the best results. Number 1, and this is the most important, that is consistency. If you're chewing this gum once a week, just like going to the gym again, you're not going to see the optimal results. In fact, you might not see anything because you're not getting the amount of engagement that you require to allow the hypertrophy of your muscle. Number 2, allow time for good recovery. Again, don't overtrain. Follow the starter training program, which is free on the website. You might have got one in your order as well, a printout. Another thing is to have ample rest days. And again, as we spoke earlier, increasing your protein intake. So these are the things that are discussed today in the ROCKJAW method. And this is episode 1. I'll see you in the next one.